each night when we go to sleep, kept in heaven's energies.
Welcome to our channel Lightly Vision. Today Mother will talk to us about fear. Welcome, Mother.
Thank you.
So we all have fears in our lives. So do you have any suggestion for people who have a hard time overcoming their fear in different domain of their lives?
Yes. To understand the phenomena of fear, you have to look at the animal kingdom. There you find plants don't have fear, and minerals neither, stones. But animals have this. And if you observe the phenomena, you will see that this only comes up when there's the question of survival. So fear is linked to the survival instinct in the animal kingdom. And in a human being it's exactly the same. But the way we live survival is not the same. So the survival instinct for an animal has to do with his body and eating and drinking and being eaten up by an enemy or not. In our case, it's slightly different. The fear for human beings has to do with the ego. It can also be linked to the physical body, that you have a fear of dying, that you have a fear of losing your identity or whatever, but or even of more concrete things. But that is not the difficulty. The real difficulty is that in the first place, fear for human beings has a psychological factor that is less pronounced in the animal kingdom. For an animal it has nothing to do with psychology, but everything with the physical part of his existence. And so for human being it's psychological, and it has in the first place, and then in second it can have something to do with physical things, but or material things, but it is psychological. And what's linked to that is the idea that the personality, the lower nature in us, it's that part that has the fear. The soul does not have that fear. The soul is not characterized by fear, but the lower nature, the ego, the personality is. So you have to, the first thing you have to know is when you're scared, when you are taken by fear, you can say it's not you. It's the ego, it's the lower self. But well, that's a beautiful theory that does not always make you more courageous. But it's still good to know. So you have to know that there's another part of you that does not share this problem in you. But that might for a long time stay just a nice theory. What I have learned myself is when I feel a fear of something, I do not identify with it. I know that this is not me, and I look at it and I ask myself very clearly, well, what am I afraid of? I give a name to it. I think that's a very good way to learn to not to let you being led by your fear. Having fear, I don't think you can avoid it. It's part of our lives. We are incarnated in the lower nature, in the personality. It's there all the time. Not all day long, but it can come up at any moment for all kinds of reasons. What you can do is to take a step back and to say, okay, I feel fear. What am I afraid of? It should have a name. Then you can overcome it more easily. If you can make very clear for yourself what you are afraid of, it's less threatening. Then you can master it more easily and say to yourself, okay, well, listen, you find all kinds of objective reasons why it's not what so threatening as you thought. And even if it is, it's clear and you will find a solution. But you will not find a solution if you stay identified to your fear without ever being able to say, what are you afraid of? So if somebody is afraid of dogs, that happens a lot. If this is not a real problem, the person sees a dog coming up and walks to the other side of the road and the problem is solved. It becomes more difficult if there are dogs all around and one day she doesn't even know where to go anymore because there's somebody in front of him with a dog and the right side and the left side behind. The day you cannot really escape from your fear anymore, then you have to do something. Then the first thing, as I already said, you have to do is give it a name. You're afraid of what? You're afraid of dogs, but that's not enough. You're afraid of what in this dog? That he will bite you? You understand? If you say yes, in fact I'm afraid of being bitten, then you can also say to yourself, "Whoa, how many times does that happen in life? I mean, we see dogs and people walking with dogs every day. How many times we read in the newspaper or in reality, it happens that suddenly, well, not so often, hardly ever. So then you get a distance to your fear and you say, well, if it happens so, and in fact, well, when I look at the dog, he's quite small, he doesn't seem too angry or frightening. Oof, you have air. I think it's the best way to work with fear. It's very simple, but it has to do with, in the first place, when people have fear for something, as I already said, they will all have all kinds of natural strategies to avoid it. When they see a dog, they go to the other side of the road. The day they cannot escape anymore and they are in front of the thing they are afraid of, then I would say the moment has come that they have to negotiate inside of themselves in one way or another and say, okay, what am I afraid of? My stepmother, every Sunday, what's the problem? Why am I afraid of her? Mm-hmm. You have to give it a name. Mm-hmm. And then when you deepen out for yourself, you express for yourself what you are afraid of, you will normally you will see that with the courage you have to give it a name, a solution will come up. So it might be that you say, my stepmother, she always says, when I arrive already she criticizes my pants or my belly because she thinks I'm thick, or she already makes a remark about my hair or whatever. Now, when you say this to yourself, it might be that the moment you say, yes, in fact, she always criticizes me, I hate her. Already, when I arrive already, she has something to say. And it might be that your intuition suddenly says, well, I have the solution. Now the next time you go there, you buy a big bunch of flowers and you put it in front of you, and that's the way you arrive. So it might very well be that the first criticism in her head is already neutralized because there are the flowers. And you go on. Well, perhaps it will neutralize for the rest of the day. So it's okay.
I love your solutions.
If it does not work, you look, if for 2 to 3 hours it works, now we are at noon, the meal, you say, I will help you. What can I do for you in the kitchen? Well, you will see that naturally, if you have the courage to give a name to your fears, the solution will come. And you help this lady 1, 2, 3 times during the day with all kinds of things, and suddenly she doesn't criticize you anymore. And it's solved.
Magic, like magic.
Yes. But you have to give it a name, and to dare to say to yourself, yes, because we are ashamed of being afraid very often. Yeah. Because it's not strong, it's not being adult. But if you can admit it and say, in fact, I'm afraid of my stepmother, then the intuition will come. You arrive with a bunch of flowers, you do the washing up, she's glad, and she stops criticizing.
It's true, because like that way we become our friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a stranger
Yes.
anymore. Okay, thank you, Mother. So I hope you enjoyed this video and all the wise advice that we get from Mother. I know I do, and it has changed my life so much in the best way. So leave your comments and listen to the beautiful music, and you can also listen to other songs if you go at the bottom of the description. So have a nice day. Goodbye.
An angel comes and takes us up to a land of light. Each night when we go to sleep, we're leaving earthly reality. We're stepping out of our clothes of dust in dresses bright. Silent night, starry sky, the moon shines, where am I? Silent night, peaceful dreams, carried over on silvery beams. Silent night, starry sky, the moon shines, where am I? Who remembers what he's been told up in heaven's paradise, where he is taught with loving care about wrong and right? Who remembers what he's been told by spirits so pure and wise? They protect us with true devotion all through the night. Silent night, starry sky, the moon shines, where am I? Silent night, peaceful dreams, carried over on silvery beams. Silent night, starry sky, the moon shines, where am I? Silent night, starry sky, the moon shines, where